guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Leash and I make art videos. So in today's video, I am just going to go through basically putting together a convention toolbox. And what this means is this is a box that has all of your essentials that you just sort of leave with your convention stuff, and every convention you've got what you need when you need it, and there's not going to be this awkward thing of like, oh crap, I've forgotten something really important like my business cards or like scissors and stuff like that. So yeah, so to begin, you just want to have a very basic Tupperware container. Is Tupperware like an Australian brand? I don't know. Just a sort of a clear, sturdy plastic container. I find that this is good to have, and I prefer to have a clear thing so you know what is in there, and something that seals up so things aren't going to fall out. One of the first and most important things to always have in your convention toolbox is a set of business cards. So you want to have a set of business cards because it's the worst thing if you go to a convention and you've completely forgot to bring your business cards, and that means you could be losing out on sales or extra followers on social media. So make sure you pop your business cards in your little toolbox. Second, and this I guess is sort of an optional thing, but I feel like it's pretty cheap and easy to get, so you might as well have it, is a little business card holder. I normally have a couple of these, so I have one at each end of the table. Next is something that I find pretty important, is having a little calculator. I bought this one specifically to have at conventions, and that way I always have it there. Most people will just use their phone, and that's completely fine, but I find with my phone it generally runs out of battery pretty quickly, especially at a convention. If you're using it to look up references for commissions that you're doing on the weekend, or even if you're using it just to browse social media when you're experiencing some low periods. So I find having just a little spare calculator is good for when you need to calculate prices or deals or anything like that, or even your end of day till, just in case your phone breaks. So it doesn't hurt to have one of those. The next I would suggest is pretty basic, is have some ballpoint pens. I always have two just in case one goes missing. Even if you bring your pencil case with you, have some in your convention toolkit, because you never know if you're going to forget one and if you're going to need one, and it'll just suck if you don't have one. And the next would probably be some Sharpie markers. So just some big permanent markers, just in case you need to do some last minute things like writing some price cards and things like that. If you're signing prints that you're selling, you know, bring a Sharpie marker. A black, a gold, and a silver is pretty good. I normally just sign in black and have some other colors in case I'm doing other bits and pieces. Do you want to be prepared? The next thing is pretty small and basic, and that is just to have some copies of your little price tags and things like that. So I would normally print 2 copies of whatever I'm doing, and that way there is a backup copy in case something gets ruined or lost and you want to have nice looking ones. You can have those in there. Alternatively, you can have just some blank bits of paper. Sometimes people use a back of business cards. I always get a whole bunch of these because I order some of my business cards from Vistaprint. So just having these is really good to have little price tags and things like that. And the next thing I would suggest to have is a little bit of blue tack for when you want to put up those price tags, or even some sticky tape. So you can have some clear tape, however you want it, and even some masking tape is good as well. Masking tape is less tacky, so if you're trying to put up prices or prints or something like that, and you just sort of roll it up into like a bit of a bowl thing, and then you put it on the back and it'll come off easy at the end of the day. One thing I would generally have, I don't know if this is just an Australian thing, but just money bags, in case, you know, at the end of the day when you're counting up your till and you want to just take home some excess change and things like that, or just sort out your change, having money bags and extra ones is always really good. You want to be organized and be on top of your money and know what's what. Sometimes getting short change, like someone will actually give you like a $20 note and say, oh, I gave you a 50, you owe me this much change. You're like, oh, okay. And if you know what you have and what people give you and everything like that, it's a lot easier to avoid confusion. One thing that I always do is that, you know, if they buy something and it's like $15, so I will sort of take the $20 note and be like, okay, 15 means $5 change, and sort of say that aloud so that I have a verbal confirmation with them what's going on, but also myself, so that I don't forget what's happening. Conventions are very hectic and it can get really confusing with dealing with lots of numbers and sales all at once. Next thing is rubber bands. These come in handy all the time. I like to have a little Glad bag filled with rubber bands, and I have some that just live in this toolbox all the time. So if you're selling large prints like A3 or poster size prints and you want to offer to people if you want to roll them up or anything like that, these are good to have. These are also good again when you're sorting out your notes in your till. Another essential that you should always have is scissors, because you never know when you're going to need these if you're cutting out stickers last minute at the convention if you just need to cut something whilst you're putting together your booth or table for the weekend. I normally would buy just an extra pair of scissors to live in there. And one of the most important things I find for me anyway is just some essentials. Even though you might be coming to a convention, you probably have like a backpack or a bag with you with personal stuff, but again, it's so easy to forget things and then have a pretty crappy weekend because you've forgotten some basic things. So what I normally like to do is have a little personal bag, and it's filled with things like hand sanitizer, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of people in a confined space and dealing with money. So a lot of people have heard the term of the post-con flu. Yeah, I used to always get sick from conventions because you handle lots of money from lots of different people, and you don't have much of a chance to go to the bathroom much or wash your hands and everything like that. So having hand sanitizer is really handy. Alternatively, you can have like things like antibacterial wipes, which again are really good just in case, like you're eating your lunch at your table and you're a bit grotty and whatever. Just like little packs of tissues are really handy. And then any medication you need. Now it looks like I'm a drug dealer here, but I promise I'm not. I always take extras of things like Panadol, which like headache tablets. I don't know what the equivalent in America is, like aspirin or something. Nurofen, so anti-inflammatory, and then having things like hay fever tablets. I get hay fever and things like that, and allergies. Also for me, I would put a puffer in there because I'm asthmatic, and it is the worst thing if you forget your medication at a convention and you can't leave your table, or you don't have these things readily available. The next thing I would suggest, and I guess this is mainly for like not all conventions, a few of the conventions that I do here in Adelaide, the backing boards that they give you are basically like office dividers, and they're carpety, but you're not allowed to use pins in them. This is called like hook and loop tape. So basically it's like the scratchy side of Velcro that hooks onto things. And then this side here is all sticky, and you can put those on the back of posters and signage and stuff like that. I always try and have these because I have extras of everything to make sure that I don't run out, because I've had conventions where I've run out of things and it's sucky. Feels like the worst time ever. And also it's good to help out your neighbors if they've forgotten something, and you feel like, you're gonna feel like an awesome person helping them out, and they'll really appreciate it as well. So yeah, that's basics of my convention toolkit. You can have like a little sticker there saying toolkit, but it's good having it like this. If you have this in your suitcase or in your convention stuff and it just lives there, then you've got all the important stuff. Whenever you have a convention happening, you're not gonna be worried about forgetting things. Having it clear like this means that you can see what is in there when you're raffling through stuff to try and grab it. And if you have a table helper, it means that they can see stuff when they need stuff as well. So this is what I'd call the basics for a convention toolkit. Do you guys have any suggestions of things that you find always useful to have at conventions, or things you would never go to conventions without? Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let's share some ideas and help each other out basically. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, as that really helps me out a lot. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. But till then, keep drawing.
Hey guys, just want to do a very quick shout out to my lovely supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much to Rhiannon, Ian and Dave for supporting me this month. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's basically like a Kickstarter, except you can pledge monthly, and it means that you help the artists out and help them to make new creations. On my Patreon, I generally have early access to YouTube videos as well as behind the scenes sketches and a bunch of other stuff. So if you're interested, please go check it out. Anyway guys, bye!